Welcome to the Crazy Cool Family Podcast with Don and Suzanne Manning.
A podcast where we share with you great insights about everything family from over 30 years of parenting 7 kids and over a decade of equipping parents through our Crazy Cool Family ministry.
So let us inspire and equip you to build your best family.
Okay, well, it's the holiday season. If you're here with us, not live, but I mean, when we release this, then you're right in the middle of the holidays. And so for Suze and Don, this is our first holiday season as empty nesters.
Yes.
And so
we have no one here to appreciate and enjoy all the decorations that I put out.
Hey,
and did you even notice?
Yes, I appreciate them every day.
Yeah.
I walk by them and
you
marvel,
smell the fir candle.
Marvel at them all the time. No, but so it made us think about, let's reflect. I don't know about you guys, but man, starting about end of October, when we get into Halloween, the good thing is football season's going. That's awesome. But but we're going all the way through New Year's Day and the Christmas break, and it just it can feel really chaotic, and it can feel like there's a disruption from there's like September and October feels like kind of back to school. Things are getting going again, and life's getting productive. If you're like me and you want to be productive, then all of a sudden here comes those holidays, and everything's getting disrupted again. Oh my goodness, the chaos let the chaos begin.
What I think is super interesting is that the holidays are, I don't know that they're created for children, but they're definitely geared toward children. Halloween, you're dressing up in the costumes, and Thanksgiving, you're making a list of all the things you're grateful for, and then Christmas. Christmas, if you're not, Christmas is for children, and then the New Year's, the fireworks, and maybe New Year's is much more of an adult, holiday. But all that to say is that I think that it's geared around children, but yet children get lost in the shuffle of all the holidays.
Well, and think about it. When you think about memories of your childhood, a lot of times they're based around vacations and holidays.
Yes.
So therefore, when you think about, and maybe, another way is activities. Like I remember sports growing up as a kid, but I don't necessarily remember sports with my parents. I remember more sports with my friends, but with vacations and with holidays, I remember family.
Yeah, that's
and
good.
So what are you going to do if you can think, about creating think about this. We are in the business of shaping memories for our kids in the holiday season. What do we want those memories to look like?
Oh, I love that. Exactly. Yeah, you've got, so instead of looking at the hustle and the bustle of the holiday season, what if you rewired it to, what can I do to create moments that my children are going to remember, or moments that they're going to feel safe in, or moments that they're going to laugh out loud in and just thoroughly enjoy. Maybe they don't remember them at all. They're going to remember loving the holidays. If we can go in and build it like that, they might not remember all the, that you stayed up till midnight wrapping their presents and matching wrapping paper. They might not remember that, but they might remember the fun that you had on Christmas morning.
So answer me this, Suzanne. So we had at one time, for a few years anyway, 7 kids in the house, and or maybe it was 5 kids in the house, or 3 kids in the house, and there was a lot to do to get Christmas presents bought, and there was a lot of activities, and so. But I would say that our kids felt like the holidays were a fun time. What do you think you did to bring about, to not let the busyness of all the kids and all the presents and
all their activities, the Christmas plays, and if they were in the choir, they sang in the choir. If they were in the band, and then there's the Christmas parties and the.
What would you say to your younger parent if you were doing it again? Like, what did you do to not let the busyness steal the joy around the house?
Well, I'm not fully convinced that I didn't have the joy stolen several times, because I did get caught up in the busyness. But there were a few different little things that I would do, and I would say that the thing that comes to mind the most is including them. And so if we were baking, including them, it takes longer. They're not usually as good, or the cookies are not decorated as pretty. Or wrapping the present, their little fingers are so clumsy and they might not be able to wrap them very well, but they absolutely love it. Or decorating the house.
That was so good because I don't wrap presents well and I don't like it. And so when we started going to bags, that was my savior because I never did like.
Kids do bags really well too, so that's a great thing to bring up. But even so going back to the decorating, decorating the house and letting them decorate their room. We always did that. We brought they all had a little Christmas tree in their room, and they all, had some Christmas lights up in their room, and they all had a nativity scene in their room because I was a freak about nativity scenes and had a million of them around the house.
Still are.
And so I think that was some of the.
But I think
my biggest hack, I guess, to answer your question is to include them in the chaos, in the preparation.
And I think one of the things you said there that parents need to hear again, you just said it, but is that when you do that, it's going to take more time and the quality's not going to be as good.
Especially if you're a perfectionist and you like it done a certain way.
Yeah,
let it go.
Let it go. But but when you think about it in terms of, would you rather make great memories or would you rather have perfect cookies? What's your choice? Maybe it is perfect cookies. Then send your kids to the playroom and cook your cookies in the kitchen by yourself.
Or do it after they go to bed.
Yeah, but and that did happen sometimes because sometimes it wasn't like they participated in every craft and every activity. But how do you figure out how to include them?
Oh,
That's what you're saying.
Yes, and I love that. And so, I like that you said it because the thought that came to mind is if you're not going to include them in what you're doing, then create things that they can do. Like I remember getting together with all of our friends and them making a gingerbread house, like our kids doing a gingerbread house. And so, or going Christmas caroling, or there are different activities that we would do that the kids got to celebrate the holidays with as well. And so I think that if you're not going to include them in what you're doing because you have a preference of how you want it done, then that's great. Then what are you going to do for them, I guess, so that they can enjoy the holidays? Once again, without creating too much more on your plate. We always are so overwhelmed.
I think another way that you get your kids to enjoy the holidays and have good is to take the focus off of them. And what I mean by that is that we focus more on giving than getting.
Oh, so good.
And we, you would think, we teach celebration and we teach fun by having them get things. But actually we teach celebration by having them give things and to give their time, effort, and energy. We would, for a few years, we did something super strange. We babysat the neighbor's kids one day every year for how long? 4 or 5 years?
I think so, yeah.
And it was an exhausting day, absolutely exhausting. But the kids really, it just made their Christmas. We invited all the neighbors' kids over, and all the parents went out and whatever they wanted to do shopping or a date or whatever. And but it took it, and that was a small thing in which they didn't seem small that day, but it took their minds off them and put that on something else, so finding things that you're doing to serve, even if it's like, we did the Christmas shoe boxes,
right.
We would go to the store and it would just be an evening.
Or they would always say, Mommy, can I get this? Can we have this? Can I have that? And I'm like, no, this is not for you. Today is not for you,
Yeah. Our church did groceries and still does, I think, we would go buy groceries for a family or, things like that where just taking and so out of the, let's say October to January is, 60 to 90 days there. Mm-hmm. What if 2 or 3 of those days are just about serving someone?
Yeah.
And making, and usually it was an evening of it. We'd go to the store, build it all, and you create great memories of giving to others, and they remember those things.
Yeah, gratitude and generosity. It could be something as simple as writing a note saying, I love you so much, or I thank you so much to a grandparent or an aunt or an uncle or a relative that you don't see. Maybe you didn't get to see them over the holidays, or maybe you did. And so just sending a note that's encouraging them or uplifting them. I think that any time we can get our kids to not look at themselves and look at others is so beneficial.
What if you have 3
in their whole
kids
character.
and on December 9th you have a date with one of your kids because you're going to go and buy the presents for the other 2, and they have them thinking about what they're going to give them, and
Like sibling gifts.
Sibling
Like
gifts,
that,
exactly.
yes.
Yeah, that they're going to go and each child is going to get a date with mom or dad, and they're going to go buy presents. What do you want to buy your brother and say? What do you think they want? What do you think?
To be honest with you, I think that was probably one of the most powerful hacks that we did when it came to Christmas time and our kids and knitting our kids together and making it not be about them. Because honestly, they were more excited about giving their siblings their gifts that they had picked out for them than getting whatever it is that their siblings had given them. And I think it was a great way to flip their thinking into thinking about others, into giving instead of receiving.
So, what you're doing really is and the holidays are busy. You can't do things every day, but what you could say is sit down with, and maybe you sit down with your spouse and you say, okay, we've got a few weeks, right now you'd say you got a few weeks left in the season here when you're in this. What are just a couple of things we want to get? What was a couple of things we want to prioritize to make a memory for our family, or to do something that puts them in a service mode? Or what have we liked about the holidays so far? What would we like to change for next year? What is Thanksgiving like? Okay, so of the holidays, Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, what's your favorite? New Year's too. What's your favorite?
New Year's is my least favorite.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. I think it's because there's an expectation.
Because you get drunk all the time.
Yeah, there's an expectation that you have to party, and I don't want that expectation. And I guess we had all these kids, and I think it's really difficult to pull kids into any kind of scene like that. I mean, we were super fortunate that we celebrated many New Years with other families. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't centered around alcohol at all. It was centered around, noisemakers and maybe fireworks and celebrating. But I think but that's not what you asked me. You didn't ask me my least favorite. You asked me my favorite. I think it's Thanksgiving. Just because it's centered around a meal and it's based on gratefulness. And so I think and my mom was such an amazing cook, so I have just the most incredible memories of Thanksgiving, of cooking all day and helping her cook, and she just set a beautiful table, and so the beauty of it. But you can't dismiss Christmas. I mean, and presents, and I love wrapping presents, and I love decorating, and so I don't know. I can't pick. You pick a favorite one.
Oh, mine's definitely Thanksgiving, because Thanksgiving is a time of, you've got usually a week, at least 5 days. It's kind of the Wednesday through Sunday that a lot of people are together, but there's no presents, so there's really no interruptions to the holiday. It's just it's relaxing, and especially
it's not about Jesus though. Christmas is about Jesus.
I know, but I still like Thanksgiving better. It's about the pilgrims. How about that? So
they are not Jesus.
But I just really I enjoy that, especially when we were and okay, here's a hack for you parents. Our lives are busy, and when we had kids growing up, we have 7 kids all over the place, and sports going on and everything else. But you know what? The world kind of, except maybe if you're in the football playoffs, the world kind of shuts down during Thanksgiving. There's a slowness to it. And if you embrace that slowness of that week, mm-hmm. it's just a breather, mm-hmm. It's a nice just breather during the holiday season, during the fall season, that you can just go, hey, for a couple of days, we're not going to do anything.
Yeah.
And
be together and play games and watch movies and interact. And for many years, Don and I got married on November 23rd, and sometimes it would fall right there around the Thanksgiving time. For many years, we would go Christmas shopping for our kids and leave them behind, and that was kind of one of the things that we did together as a couple to enhance our marriage. And also I wanted his input on Christmas gifts and all of that stuff. And so think that's another reason we like that time.
And parents, as we move forward in this podcast and in the holiday season, can we just give you permission to say no?
Yes.
Can we give you permission to say, we're not doing that? Just because the school system says this, or even the church says this, and or your extended family says this, or whatever. We're all about participating in the church and the school and the extended family, but only if it lines up with where you're going as a family. And if you feel like you're getting too busy, then you take a break and you step back, and that's okay.
Yeah. And so let's just talk about one more thing. So we've got this holiday season, these 90 days. You've already lived half of them. What are you going to do to make lasting memories? How do you make lasting memories with your family? Don, can you think of anything that worked for our family? Anything we did that made the holidays over the top, special, knit us together as a family, made it be where we were looking forward to it, and we couldn't wait for the holidays to come.
Well, I don't know if it made it where we couldn't wait for the holidays to come, but like, for example, every year the whole family went out and picked out a Christmas tree.
And they all hated it for many years. They said they did, but they really loved it.
But,
so if you get resistance, you just keep pushing through, moms.
But we would usually, it was an expensive dinner. It's an expensive tree.
Well, we would go to the very expensive Christmas tree farm, and it would be several $100s, and then we would go to Lowe's or Home Depot, and we would get a much cheaper
several
one.
$100.
It felt like it was several $100s.
So, but we made
we
made a night out of it, and then we brought the Christmas tree home. It was all wrapped up, and there was a couple of years that we didn't tie it down right on the top of the, and it was about to blow off the top of the car, and
we all had to hold on to it, reach your hand out there. Yeah.
So that was, what are your, I asked parents a lot, what are your traditions going to be? What are your things that they're going to remember? That's one of them for us. A few years we had a Thanksgiving football game because we had, our large family against another family or two, and we would go out and friends and have a football game the Friday of Thanksgiving, and it doesn't have to be something that lasts for 20 years. It may be something that you have seasons of things. And so what are your traditions going to be?
That's exactly, I'm so glad you said that. And that's what I just want to encourage you to do as parents, is to just brainstorm. What do you want your traditions to be? We've already gotten through Halloween and Thanksgiving, but you've still got Christmas and you've got New Year's. What are some traditions that you want to do? Maybe you want to gather your family and make a New Year's resolution list, and everybody pick one thing that they want to do for New Year's. Maybe you're going to set off fireworks. Maybe that's going to be your new tradition, or maybe it's a tradition you've always had for New Year's. Maybe Christmas is going to be, maybe this will be the first year that you have your kids exchange gifts with each other. We already talked about that. That was a tradition that we love, still carry on. The kids still, and we don't buy them. We buy them one present this year. I mean, the last several Christmases, we bought each kid one present, and that's it. But they all exchange with each other. And so I think that's the key to making memories with your family, is those traditions. What are they? What is the meal that you have for Christmas? Christmas Eve, is it a special meal? We don't have a Christmas tradition meal, but some people, they have the turkey and the dressing. Some people have Italian, and anyway, and so.
But like, for example, there might even be certain foods you make at Christmas, like, Suzanne, we have monkey bread. And there's the kids, all love this bread that's, it's super, it probably takes 3 years off your life every time you eat it. But it's just like, it's awesome, but it only comes out in the holidays.
Yes. Yeah.
And so
yeah.
what is it that only comes out in and those are things that, and sometimes you kind of stumble onto them, or maybe it's something that that's another way to honor your parents is, certain like, these things my mom made, and so I'm making them, and whatever. We're continuing traditions,
I love
maybe.
That, yeah.
So what does that look like for your family? But let's kind of end where we started. What if holidays aren't just about events and busyness, but they're about shaping your kids' memories and hearts?
Yeah, and what can you do today to do something like that?
Yeah, what does that look like? And then some of it is, just to kind of finish up, is just letting the Bible says that the peace of God, let the peace of God rule your hearts, the peace of God that transcends understanding. So what if just today you just said, Lord, I want the peace of God in my heart. And I want to hear your voice about letting your life and what you want into the holidays versus what I feel like I'm expected to do, or what I feel like is just what other people expect me to do. And what would your holidays look like if you slowed down a little bit and let those things in, instead of letting other things control you this holiday season?
Exactly. So we've thrown a bunch of ideas at you, shared a bunch of traditions that we've had. We've actually done a deep dive on this, the different holidays, if you want to, which has more ideas and more traditions and more things to do. If you're like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to shape my kids' memories. I want to do something different this holiday season. Then go get that deep dive and see if there's any ideas in there that you think you want to incorporate in your family this year.
And hope you have a great holiday season.
Yes, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Hope you have a crazy holiday season. CrazyCoolFamily.com.